are watching 32 teams in 32 days on the Game Time Sports Network.
It's a great day, sports world. So now we're in the DMV today. Not literally, but in Washington, covering the third team in the NFC East from last season. This team went 12-4 in 2024. You flipping 12-5, and then you flip it, and then they're 5-12 this past season. Injury riddled season by a lot of guys on the team, especially the franchise quarterback Jaden Daniels. Mr. Daniels, just what did he? Just seven games last season, 2-5 record, 1,262 on the yards, 8 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Totally different from the 17 games as you see it there on the left. Amon, what was well? Of course, we talked about Jaden Daniels last year, and his emergence on the scene. But coming from last year, where he had a left knee sprain, he had a right hamstring sprain, he had dislocated left elbow. It just seemed like it was all disaster for Washington, especially coming off the season that they came off the year before.
Yeah, man. If you look at if you can keep this graphic up here for a few seconds. If you can look at 2024, Jaden Daniels, he was 12-5. He was a rookie that season. Nobody had any film on him in the league, so he's caught the league by storm, man. And he was doing some great things out there with the weapons he had. Remember, he had Zach Ertz that year as well, and we know type of tight end Zach Ertz has been in this league, playing with the Philadelphia Eagles for as long as he has. And then you flip over to 2025, and you know that you see it right there, 7 games. Missed 10 games due to injuries, knee sprain, hamstring. And you know well, just as well as I know, Larry, once one thing starts bothering you, something starts overcompensating to nurture a previous injury. And you just seen everything go, you know, not according to plan. Then the icing on the cake was the dislocated elbow. I forgot what week that was because I seen it live and like ooh, that's not good. So injuries has been the main reason why we haven't seen the best version of Jaden Daniels. So hopefully we're praying that he can stay healthy this season right here. So he can get back to that 2024 form that almost came with the birth of the Super Bowl, and that would have been major for the DMV, where we the area that we live in. That would have been a big deal. So
I want to say, was that a game that was toward the end of the season? It was kind of like a meaningless game, and I think he just wanted to just to play, or they just put him out there just to play. But I think it was a meaningless game. I don't think they were in any kind of playoff contention, and I think that's where he had the dislocated elbow injury.
I
Because
want to say. I want to say it was I think it was a national game. Or I think it was a Monday night game, or either a 420. It was. I don't. I'm not really sure though, but I remember watching it on TV. So I don't want to say it was a meaningless game, but I think they were like out of it by that point though.
okay, um, but yeah, all right. So next question: is the temperature rising for Dan Quinn? 60-59 record as head coach, 17-17 as Commanders head coach, and that's in his first 2 seasons. So you got to think, if it doesn't go well this season, is my man on the hot seat here?
Um, if it doesn't go well this season, I think you might start hearing some rumblings and question marks about, hey, is he the right guy for the job? I will say I will give him a pass because he didn't have his franchise quarterback in year 2. That contributed to a lot of the 17-17 as Commanders head coach. Because when you have a dynamic Heisman Trophy winner like Jaden Daniels on your roster, you're capable of winning every game, as we've seen from 2024. So yes, man, there are going to be some questions and concerns if they finish another 5-12, 4-13. You're gonna start getting some questions from the media, from to Adam Peters and the ownership group. Is this the right guy to lead our charge going into the future?
Okay, talking about this offense here. 22, what 20? It was ranked 22nd at 20.9 points per game, yards per game, ranked 22nd. This offense was pretty bad. And then you got guys like the rookie Bill, Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt emerged on the scene with 805 yards and 8 touchdowns last year, 4.6 yards a pop. He and Chris Rodriguez, who's now gone. Jaden Daniels didn't run the ball as much because, of course, he was injured. Um, and now this offense is kind of injury riddled now, especially with Laramie Tunsil going down with the what was
Peck,
it?
Peck.
The pectoral issue. He's going to be out for a certain amount of time. We'll get to the other side of the ball with another player that had a pec injury yesterday or surgery. So, man, where does this offense go right now? Because it seems like all kind of things are happening. I know they picked up a certain few players that we're going to talk about in a minute. But where does this offense go?
I don't know, man. I think they have to establish a running game. Number one, to create an identity, and number two, to keep Jaden Daniels healthy as well. Um, as you said, Larry, this team not healthy right now. Remember, um, Terry McLaurin, he was dealing with some injury stuff last year before he got the big bag as well. Remember, he had a little nick injury here and there, and awesome, he got that cleared up and he signed the contract. So they have to find playmakers on this offense outside of Scary Terry. And now we'll, talk about Stephon Diggs here, who's entering the fold, local area kid that's played at the University of Maryland. So he's well beloved in the DMV area. As you can see, his stats from last year with New England, 17 games, 102 targets, 85 receptions, a little over 1,000 yards, 4 touchdowns. Um, Seventh 1,000 yard season of his career, which is remarkable from being a fourth or fifth round draft pick
Mm-hmm.
when he came out of Maryland way back when. But I think the lack of playmakers or weapons around Jaden and Mariota, who played in Jaden's absence last year, kind of hurt this team. That's just my opinion. But adding Stephon Diggs to this mix, we see what wherever for some strange reason, bro. Wherever Stephon goes, the team normally elevates around him. Because like when Stephon went to the Buffalo Bills, AFC Championship. When Stephon went to New England last year, Super Bowl. Where was I don't know? He had that catch with the Vikings way back when with Case Keenum,
Led him to the NFC Championship game.
NFC Championship. For some strange reason, he's a young quarterback's best friend, and I think that is so valuable to any football team. And I think Jaden will. It'll be huge for him. Now I know they drafted a couple players at tight ends out of Kansas State. I can't think of his name right now. A few years ago, but he hasn't really done anything. I think a Titans Zach. I go back to Zach Ertz. He was Jaden Daniels' best friend on fourth downs and big key downs in 2024 to ultimately propel them to where they ended up getting to before the NFC Championship. But yeah, I think they're missing that middle of the field guy, and they don't have that at tight end. But I think Stephon Diggs he'll play a perfect role as a middle of a field guy to take the pressure off Jaden Daniels 2026.
And even you spoke on Zach Ertz, and he's not there. He went through an injury himself last year, but he's gone. So then you replace him with Chico Okonkwo, who kind of I think he had a career year in numbers
With the Titans, right?
with the Titans. So I think he had a career year in numbers or more improved numbers. So now he comes over to the mix, and we'll talk about key additions right here while we at it. De'Ami Brown finds his way back. Amik Robinson, your guy, who gave up a ton of touchdowns last year. Charles Omenihu, Calebon Chasen. You see him right there on the list. Rashad White is another one. I think he just got a hamstring issue, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
But those are the names right there for the key additions, key departures. Is you see Debo Marshawn, who not showing that early Marshawn Lattimore version of himself. Tyler Biadasz, who just he's out for the season now. I think he went over to the Chargers. Chris Rodriguez, another one. You see all those names right there. As I always ask you, what key departure is going to hurt this team the most, and what addition is going to help this team the most?
Key departure, for me is Zach Ertz. He was like I cannot overstate how much he was Jaden Daniels' best friend. In the middle of that field, for him to be open and available. And for key additions, um, I like the mixture of depth at pass rush with Charles Omenihu, Caleb Von Chason, Adafe Owe. And I think we talked about Adafe Owe on the Chargers episode, how he came alive during the second half of their season last year. So I think the depth at pass rush on the defensive line is a welcome addition to this team that's sorely needs it. And they thought Von Miller can give them something, but it just never materialized for this football team in 2025.
Led the team in sacks with 9.
That's not saying a whole lot. If your leader in sacks is 30 some years old, 40, not 40, but in mid 30s, and he leading the team with 9 sacks, that means that you got a pass rush issue. And they went out and addressed that in free agency, giving Odafe Owe 4 years, 100 million, 168 million guaranteed, and then you go get Caleb Von Chason from the New England Patriots, who went to the Super Bowl last year. Get him on the team friendly deal. Then you get Charles Omenihu that had some running. Kansas City? I want to say, Larry. He has some
Yeah,
run in Kansas City.
I think
So
he
yeah,
went
man,
there.
those are
Or
some those are some of the additions and departures that I look at from this Commanders team for 2025.
you go to defense here, while we was just talking about that. Um, we'll jump back into the offensive line and later on, but this defense allowed 26 and a half, 27th. You look at the numbers right there. That is a very bad defense. 27th, 32nd in yards per game, 23rd on third downs, 29th in the red zone. And it's just not good all across the board. The only thing is 42 sacks. They was tied for 12. But who knows how many teams was in there. But 42 sacks there, and like I said, an aging pass rusher was your leading pass rusher at 9. You had Jacob Martin, who's a role player, coming in at 5.5. Dorrance Armstrong 5.5. Johnny Newton 5, and he's out for a certain amount of time. Bobby Wagner 4.5. He gone. So now where do you go as far as that pass rusher?
Yeah, man, it's tough, man. You don't have a what do you want to say? You don't have a Max Crosby, you don't have a Nick Bosa, you don't have a Aiden Hutchinson. So you have to be pass rush by committee until you can find that guy. And sometimes, being a pass rush by committee is almost good as having that 1A on your team, because there's sacks to go around for everybody, and everybody just have to do their job to get to the quarterback. So yeah, man, I think it's gonna be pass rush by committee. You hoping that like I said, like I stated, or Dafe Owe, he can give you that DPR, or not DPR, but DN1 edge one type of production that we see from the upper echelon pass rushers in this league. So there's gonna be a collective group in the front seven to get out the quarterback.
With Johnny Newton leaving, he going into his 3rd year. Was he a first-round pick or
Second round pick?
second-round pick? So after this season, he was eligible for his second contract. So now that's going to be put on hold because he got the injury. So now you look at Deron Payne, and it's like he's just a lone warrior sitting on that line right there, because Tim Settle, who's been in and out of the building, Javon Kinlaw, former first-round pick,
Mm-hmm.
Shy Tuttle, who's a role player that's been all over the league, and then you go Dorrance Armstrong, Dietrich Wise, who's coming over. Where did he come from? I know he
New
Patriots,
England. New England.
so he did play for New England last year.
Yeah, I want to say.
Because I want to say he was a certain place.
I remember him from New England. I don't know if it was this year or last year, where he played ball. I mean, last year, year before last. But I do remember seeing him in a New England uniform. So, but I could be a year off.
Yeah, I definitely remember that. But then as far as pass rushers, I guess that's the answer right there with Odafe Owe, who's coming off of a very productive year, and then Leo Chanel, who's got some experience, deep playoff experience as well with the Chiefs. So I'm guessing that's their guy, but it's Caleb Vaughn chasing, but it's looking very thin over there, man.
Yeah, man, it's kind of scary, man. Like it's thin, like I said, it's thin. It's kind of spooky at the pass rush because you don't. It's a mixed bag, of what you're going to get because, like as we stated before, Owe didn't pick up and had them 10+ sacks after the second half of the season, so he wasn't consistent. So, are you banking on him carrying that momentum over from the Chargers to the Commanders? Um, if so, I understand it for the price tag. You're getting paid like a edge one. And hopefully he can live up to that contract, man, and give this defense the boost that they need at that certain position.
Jeremy Reeves in the secondary was probably like their more productive safety last season. You also got Quan Martin, Nick Cross over there. I think Nick Cross just came over there
From Indy, right?
from Indy. Mikey Sainer still there. Trey Amos, I think he's going through a little injury right now. So the secondary was not good, and if you're looking at as far as drafts and the people that they have in the room, I mean, it looks like it's going to be probably the same unit.
Yeah, man, and that was one of my questions I had penciled down. Uh, what does this secondary room ultimately look like? There's no CB1. There's you got Rasul Douglas. He's been around the league for a while with Buffalo, Green Bay. So he's probably the most experienced corner that they have in that room. But he's not your number one. He's not number two. Number two, high in low number two, high three. So yeah, man, it looks like it's gonna be a struggle there, um, as well. And I know we haven't talked about their draft picks yet, but it's gonna be tough sledding, man, for this defense, man. Much as money they spent, just I won't say not proven guys, but guys that has TVD beside their name because you don't know what you're going to get on a week in and week out basis because it'll be kind of rough, for you to. And I know I keep talking about Adafe Owe because that's where the money is. You look at the end of the season, Adafe Owe got 5 sacks, and you paid $100 million for that.
Mm.
You could have signed. You
You
could
just
have got. Yeah, you could have went on and got somebody else for a fifth of that price and got the same production, But that's why we sitting over here. That's why they're in the front offices and hopefully they can prove everybody wrong.
yeah, you basically just paying off the potential right there, and when owners do that, GMs do that, it's 9 times out of 10, or maybe 7 times out of 10, it may work, it may pan out, it may not. So,
But yeah, that's the risk in free agency, man. There's a reason why teams let these players hit free agency. If the Chargers really value Adafe Owe, maybe they would have put some in front of him in the offseason. But no, they were like, no, let me test him, let him test the market and see what he get. And I don't know the Chargers situation as far as cap wise or anything like that. But that number that his agent got from the Commanders, I congratulations, brother. If I'm a Chargers personnel guy, congratulations. Go get your money. I can't compete with that. So
let's talk about the draft picks here. And they only had 6. A linebacker, Sonny Styles, in the first round. And then they didn't have a second round pick. Third round, they took Antonio Williams out of Clemson, wide receiver. Defensive end, Joshua Josephs out of Tennessee in the 5th round. 6th round, Katron Allen, running back out of Penn State. Center, Matt Golbin out of Michigan State in the 6th round. And the 7th round, Ethan.
yep, you got it. You got it, brother.
Caligmanis, somewhere around that ballpark. Apologize if I got the name wrong, but he, I think he set some records over at Rutgers while he was there, right?
Very well may have been. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, so, of course, I know you probably going the top pick, but what draft pick stands out to you the most?
The Antonio Williams, man, that one. The easy is the Sonny Styles, but I think Antonio Williams I thought he had potential at the beginning of last season to be a first round receiver. I think he had inconsistent play. Everybody at Clemson last year, we don't know what happened to that team because they had so many high productive players that were considered top picks in the draft, and they just didn't have the season that they wanted to. Antonio Williams, he was a very good player for them. I thought he would have went around early. Maybe if Clemson had won a couple more games and he had to put more a better showing. We know Cade Klubnik was a little inconsistent at quarterback for those guys last year, but I thought Antonio Williams would, go a little higher. And it's very important that he come in and he be wide receiver 3 right now for this Commanders team. They're going to look for his production. They need his production because Stephon Diggs and our guy, what's his name, Terry McLaurin, they're in their 30s now, so they're going to be turning over this receiver core in a few years, and hopefully Antonio Williams can stick for them and lead the charge going into the future. And of course, number what I forgot number Sonny Styles was, but the first overall pick, I mean their first round pick out of Ohio State, Sonny Styles, he's Mr. Everything. He was a converted safety to linebacker, just getting to the rhythm of playing linebacker. But he's so uber athletic, man. He blew the combine up, and he
Hmm.
just seemed like a Dan Quinn guy. So it was a no brainer for Adam Peters to turn the card in at 7. We thought he could potentially go to the Giants at 5 if they really wanted to do it, but somehow, he slipped 2 picks and we had a trade in between there, and it was right for the pickings for Adam Peter to pick us freakazoid, as we used to say back in our day, to be in the middle of that defense, to carry this defense into the future, and it's going to build around Sonny Styles and play to his strengths and let him do what he do.
Hopefully, Sonny will have a better game this week when they play Detroit versus last week, because I was listening to Miss Candy's in the podcast that she was on last night. She was basically saying Sonny and Leo Chanel wasn't looking too good in the game. So, but that's what they're rookies for, and they'll improve. They'll improve along the way. With Sonny Styles' case, anyway, he'll improve going along the way. Um, where am I going next? Katron Allen, I think, has got a good chance. I know we talked about Krosky Moret.
Oh, Bill,
Bill, Krosky Merritt.
Cross
No,
Mary. Yep, you're right.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I know we talked about him, but then you have Katron Allen, who was drafted, and then you got Rashad White over there as well. So I mean, the running back room is looking a little productive, don't you think?
Yeah, man. Running back room is a little, it's in good hands. But there's injuries. Rashad White got injuries. We know Bill, he's been steady at it. Trayton Allen, he dropped off from the year before because him and his running partner at Penn State, they were a dynamic duo. He fell to the sixth. Katron fell to the 6th round, so he can give you a little something there. It's going to be running back by committee. Um, in DC until they find that one Bill cow, and hopefully Bill can be that guy for them, and stabilize this room.
Uh, as we talked about Terry McLaurin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Career lows: 10 games, 60 targets, 38 receptions, 582 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And I'm thinking that's the reason why they go. Well, that's not the reason they go Antonio Williams, but that's probably part of the reason because he's been injured. He was injured last year for like the first time since in a while. He's been very reliable, but you sign the contract, and then all of a sudden you get
Expectations. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, and then then you get hurt. So uh, I like the way they went with the Antonio Williams. I wish Miss Sewell was able to join. I don't think she's not gonna be able to come on. But uh, I wish could know what Antonio Williams' status was at camp and how he's doing. Um, but going to the offensive line here, as you see Laramie Tunsil with 1 sack allowed, now you were missing him. And Brandon Coleman probably would take that spot right there, uh, unless him or Andrew Wiley, whoever battles out for that. Chris Paul, 1.5 sacks at the guard spot. Nick Allegretti, uh,
Mm-hmm.
he missed all of 2025. And then you see Tyler Biadasz, 3.5 sacks allowed. So I mean, he's not playing this year himself. Sam Cosmi 3.5 sacks allowed, and then Josh Connolly 9.5 sacks allowed, and I think he had like 54 pressures that he allowed as well. So 37 sacks taken. That was 15, and the way that line is looking, man, JD 5 is about to have a year where he's going to be on the run a lot.
Oh, for sure. Then the Laramie Tunsil injury. I don't think that's all a season-ending injury, but you can dang near chalk it up to probably majority, 3/4 of the year he's going to be gone. And Josh Conley, he's still a young guy. He was a first round pick out of Oregon a few years ago. He'll be better than 9 sacks on tape. He was way better than 9 sacks. Sam Cosby, he's been around for a while at the University of Texas. Nick Allegretti, you remember him in Kansas City when he was
Mm-hmm.
the center for Kansas City? I thought he was decent, but he missed all of 2025 with the injury. So yeah, man, it's gonna be a patchwork offensive line without the big Laramie Tunsil, who's the highest paid tackle in the league, man. So they're gonna have to scheme up and look at the veteran market after cut day and see if they can get somebody to come over there. That if they don't have anybody in house already to hold in the left tackle spot. If not, they're going to have to scheme around it. Maybe throw a tight end and chip over there on the left side to at least give Jaden a few more seconds to get through his progressions and find his open receiver downfield.
You know who's the offensive coordinator over there?
I don't know who the coordinator is right now.
He's another quarterback that didn't have the best career. David Blau.
Yeah, I did see that. He was in New Orleans at one point, wasn't he?
And Detroit.
And Detroit,
I
yeah.
think he had a good game when he was in Detroit. I don't know if it was a Thanksgiving game, I want to say. But I remember him having success in one game, or maybe a couple games, but kind of falls in that Davis Webb, Sean Mannion type
Hey,
conversation.
they're coming up, bro. They're
Who
coming
can
up. I'm
make a
telling
name
you.
for themselves coming next year? Hey, if this offense is right, maybe you got a head coaching job, waiting in the wings somewhere.
If the offense right, Jay getting that big bag, Dan Quinn getting that big bag, and Adam Peter getting an extension. I'm trying to tell you. But hey, you never know what these hot shot young coordinators have, man. They've been, like I said yesterday, and I mean on the Broncos show and the Eagles show, man. They've been around the league for a while. They've seen the highs of highs and lows of lows, so they know how to play the quarterback position. Yeah, were they back up? Sure, but they were A1 in the classroom. I guarantee you that they had to stay ready so they won't have to get ready because just one injury, boom, they on the field. So I think you'll see a lot more of the backup quarterback transitioning over to OCs and stuff like that. Boy, I can't imagine what Josh Johnson he get done playing. Boy, he gonna be a hell of a
Oh,
coordinator, boy.
man. All the times that he held the
Boy, he done
clipboard.
play for every team in the league, boy. I mean, he should know a little bit of everything.
Right. We'll go to the schedule real quick. They start at Philly, 2 games on the road against Philly and Dallas, and there's 2 NFC East opponents. Both games at 4:25. You get the Seahawks. You travel over to London to play the Colts in Week 4. Then San Francisco in Week 6 on a Monday night. You hit the bye week. You got Philly on a Sunday night. You got the Rams after that at home.
Good
That's gonna
God, bro.
that's gonna be huge. Don't let Aaron Donald come back. My God. Uh, After that, we know Week 10 you face the Giants again. You got the Bengals. You head on down to where Houston is in Week 14. Uh, Minnesota, Jacksonville, and the Cowboys to close the year out. Not really a tough stretch on this schedule unless you want to talk about weeks 1, 2, and 3.
Shoot, weeks 1, 2, and 3. That's murder out the gate from a
Yeah.
for a team that's already dealing with injuries.
Oh man.
And you got a hungry Philly team, a Dallas team with I don't know, no disrespect to Amos, Rasul Douglas, and these guys or Meek Robinson, but I don't know what they're gonna do with CD Lamb and George Pickens. And I don't know what you're gonna do with JSN and Cooper Cup, and I don't know what you're gonna do with AJ. I mean not AJ Brown, but Devontae Smith, who's number one, and then the young boys they putting in now. So we it's a very possibility they can go 0-3 out the gate. and I would not be surprised.
Yeah, you won't be surprised. And weeks 4 through 6, it might be somewhat of a little layoff there, but I mean, it doesn't get better when you got after your bye week, you got to face Philly again, and then you got to face the Rams.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean that ain't. I mean, imagine you getting iced up in the tub by a week, and then you look, you come back and you like, well, who we play this week? And you look in your locker, and you see Philly,
damn.
and then the Rams back to back. Go and get back in the ice.
And then look, you got the short week when you face the Giants, and then you got to face Joe Shiesty.
Joe's like, yep, get back in the tub.
Yeah,
You
man.
might have a little breathing room, but they might be out of it by then. At Atlanta, Minnesota, ain't no telling what Jacksonville how they gonna act. We'll get to the South next, so they'll be on that docket here in a few days. So, yeah, man, it's a third place schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a third place schedule, man. But there's some toughies on there, boy.
Yeah,
Whew.
Arizona, and Tennessee, they might receive a little layoff right there.
I don't know, man. You had the Cardinals winning 5-6 games, so I ain't.
Hey, hey, I'm gonna stand by that.
You better, boy.
What predictions of wins do you give the Commanders here?
And I give them 7-10. I don't see too much, brother. I don't see too much of a win 2 more games than you did last year. God forbid Jaden get hurt again. Because it's a big year for Jaden. Because guess what?
After the season, you talk about contract extension,
Oh yeah, Bo Nix be up.
and for
Drake
him,
May,
for
Caleb.
for him, shit. After his first season, I'm pretty sure they was already. Hey, come on in the office, let's talk.
That's why you waited out.
Yeah.
That's why you waited out. But come contract time, it's gonna be interesting. If he has a bounce back year and he gets back to 25 touchdowns, 30 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, okay, he's back. You put him in that group of four, because those guys are gonna command a bit of Drake May is gonna be 65 million a year. And I'm just going ahead and put it out there right now. Bo Nix, that's TBD. I'm not saying that he gonna get a bag. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know if it's gonna be in the 60 plus range. I don't know. You have more insight on that than I do. I can see mid 50s, low 50s,
I can
uh,
see that. I can
like Jared Goff type money.
yeah. I can see Drake getting the
Oh,
bigger
Drake
part
getting
of
it.
that,
Oh yeah, you got to give him what he can.
and
Yeah,
then Bo sitting right here. But then Caleb as well. If Caleb is
that's the tricky one because you don't.
yeah,
That's the tricky one. Like, what do you do? You number 1 overall pick, but yet you got the number 2 overall pick getting 65, but you didn't play as well as this guy did to get your team to the Super Bowl. So how do you treat that? That's going to be interesting. That's going to be interesting in the offseason. Do they wait? I think whoever gets it done early, the team will be better off because we all know Drake's going to get that 65. Call it a day. Then what do you want to do with that? And you don't want to insult nobody. Or that's why you have agents and let them deal with that because you come to me with some BS. Bye.
yeah. So Jaden's definitely it's gonna have to come to him putting the team on his back.
For
Uh,
sure.
with the run game as well. Like the run game is gonna have to hit. Like I mean, they're gonna have to. Running backs gonna have to work their asses off this year.
Lying too, boy. Lord have mercy.
Oh man. But it is a plus is that you get Stephon Diggs over there, who, as we talked about, he improves. It seems like he improves quarterbacks everywhere he goes. Um, so you got that there. They don't have a bad receiving core. It's all gotta come together. And with that line, maybe they gotta make some moves when preseason is over with. You know how after that stretch is over, and you got a lot of which another with the Johnny Newton injury, they got to be in the market for a defensive tackle.
Oh
So
yeah, at some point. Yeah, there gonna be some cut candidates, some trade candidates that's gonna be, able to get picked up by them and see what they can do from there.
yeah, so yeah. Commanders fans, tap in, man. What you think about your team this year? Predictions, win, loss totals, all that good stuff. Mon, do you have anything before we get up out of here?
Nah, man, I don't have anything else but the Commanders, man. Let's just see a healthy Jay Daniels. Let's start there. For them, and then we'll see how everything else plays out for them in 2026. But I don't have anything else.
Missed the playoffs 8 of the last 10 years. We'll see what happens this year. We'll be back tomorrow for the New York Giants to cap off the NFC East before we jump over to the AFC East. Football is about to be back. After the East, we got
The South?
the South, and that's it. So 9 teams left, I do believe. So we count them down, baby.
Well, it's been a grind, boy. This has been a grind, boy.
Man. Yes, it has. No, we'll see you guys tomorrow, everybody. Have a great night.